Well, then I saw under the sun that wisdom excels folly, just like how light excels darkness. Thank you so much once again for joining the Pillars Golden Moment. Yeah, because when they were under the control of their parents, they saw it as punishment. They didn't see the good that the parents wanted for them. So now, my mother is not here, my father is not here, I can do whatever I want. That is why they are living there. But if they could have known that this and this that my mother is telling me not to do is for the good, but it's not punishing me, they wouldn't go the other way when they are free, because he himself or herself has accepted the training and have understood that this is a bodily training, and when I take it, my life will end well. So whether my mother is there, my father is not there, I'll go accordingly. But since they saw it as a punishment, now I'm free, and that freedom will lead them astray, lead them somewhere, and you will come out with the grade that you can't even mention. Some people attempted grade, and they will blame the devil. That is it. Well, I'm not really happy because it's really serious. Most of us are taking the freedom overboard, and we are doing. So you see this young lady, protect yourself, abstain from sex, do so many things. They think you're worrying them, as you said, but in the long run, they become slavery to barrenness, slavery to marital pressure, because after giving birth, getting married, 2, 3, 4 years, and they don't get children out of the abortions or some other things, they tend to blame it on someone else, but they cause their own slavery because they had the freedom to do what they have to do. What about the boys too? Where can the boys get their slavery from? Yeah, the boys, it's all start from peer pressure, as we know, alcoholism, taking of drugs addiction, then even the improper dressing can lead them somewhere. Because for the improper dressing, for instance, I was one in the bathroom from Kumasi to Sunyani. When we go to the burial, the policeman just looked through the car and picked one guy from it. Because looking at the haircut, the dressing, the bag that the guy was wearing, he suspected something. He suspected something. So he searched only the guy. So all of us were like, oh why? But in fact, looking at the dressing, he looked like an armed robber. That is it. So the trend, that this is trending can lead me somewhere. So our boys need to understand that it's not all fashion that we need to follow. We should guide where we move to, the friends that we move with, the conversation that even we listen to, because what enters your mind sticks, and you will be pushed to follow because you've heard your friends, this is what is happening, you need to have a girlfriend, you need to take more alcohol, you need to. Yes, if you don't do it, you are tomorrow, so you'll be tempted to follow it, forgetting the training that you've gotten from your parents. And if you are not careful, addiction is there. If you are addicted, it can end you in the psychiatric, which is, well, please go back to Ranti Ajaku, Ranti, on our Facebook and YouTube and watch the previous programs, powerful programs by different guests. We had one on imposed discipline. Whether you are self-disciplined or imposed, you will love that one too, in connection with what we are doing today, the slavery of freedom. Before we continue, I want you to know that this is one of the beautiful moments that when you are giving a gift to a friend or a loved one, at the weddings, funerals, we package it beautifully like this. Okay, so you can always call on us for us to give you powerful paper bags. And also, our 1,000 gold pass continue. These are beautiful things we give to orphans and rural children. These are, we have masks, we have crayons, so many things, books, face masks, so many things. and we have packed soldiers, giving it to the rural children. Last week we were at Mentuka, one of the surrounding villages in Sunyani, and went to put a golden smile on the face of over 150 children and come and see what happened. I was so much felt. I mean, it was touching. Why? Some of the children, beautiful items, just to push them to be who God has purposed them to be. You can always come on board and join the pillars so that we go around putting golden smiles on the faces of children. And also, I want to encourage you that wherever you are going, wear your nose mask. Is safe for us because God wants your life to fulfill your purpose. The slavery of freedom. Mommy, so I remember when I was in school, my father was more like a jata, you know jata, lion. Sorry, please pardon my call. So when I went to the university, it was like the cat is away, the mice will play. But as you rightly said, because of the Christian principles we have been taught, and we understand that it's for our own good and not of evil to lead us to unexpected, and we took it in good faith. Hence, most of the people who are taking the freedom overboard, is it that they don't understand it, or they feel that, well, I can always change in the end. Whatever happens, I can swerve the consequences. Is it that easy?
No. What I always advise parents to do is, in disciplining our children, we should let them understand why we are doing it and the consequences of the way they wanted to go. Okay, the end of it. Okay. So if the child understands why you are putting the child through that way, he will know that it's not for evil, but it's for good. Okay. I stayed with my auntie, and she was trying to teach me management in the house, how we manage food, we manage money. But since I didn't understand her, I took her to be a wicked woman. So I was always complaining. My mother, if she gives me maybe 5 cedis, she expects me to utilize it effectively. So if she will give me 5 cedis for 2 days, and me as a child, I will spend on the next day, she will not give me money. She expects me that I will use it for the 2 days that he asked me. So I didn't understand. I was always complaining.
She was being wicked.
Yes. So I grew and I became a mother. Then I understood that this woman was teaching me something. Now I know how to manage my money. I know how to manage food. I know how to but this is the mistake most of us we do as parents. We don't let them know. If my auntie had told me that, this is what I want you to do, that's why I give you the money in bulk. Don't spend it all one day. This portion it. I would have appreciated what she was doing. So this is the mistake most of us we do. We had the good intention, but we don't communicate the intention to our kids. So they take it to be punishment, we being wicked. So when we are not there, praise the Lord. But if they understand what we intend for them, they will be guided even if they are not there.
Do you know with what you said, most women put too much pressure on their husbands because they don't know management. If she gets the money, use it all, buy all the food, eat all the food,
go back to zero.
It's me and you look inside and you see your face inside. But they will spend it, but you should not, so it is religion.
So that is the slavery of the freedom. You will get the money. Since you are not guided, nobody is managing, you spend more.
That's why most of us cannot attain our business plans or work on our calendar, because the money that comes in at the end of the month as salary, we end up spending all, and we don't save some to
have
for a project.
I have the money, so I can do whatever I want to do with it.
No,
I don't have any plans for the money I have.
Budget.
Yes, I have not budgeted it. So before the money comes, I've already spent it in my mind. I don't, because I've not budgeted.
Not even your mind, sister. We spent it already physically.
So we will end up going back to zero. That is the slavery of the freedom we have.
You don't be brave. I want to mean yeah, what is all. If you say I'm say and call Juma and call Yesi and call Nelson and call school pure into Motifaco. I see Motifaco what's what is. Yeah, now come.
Yeah, you can't only say Oba ware me di. Se wo mare a, wo ye fa. Na se wo ware a, wo no kun ka ho. E me do mo se me ka pinti ba ko, ene ba ko ka bo ma. En ka ye ka no se nim before kun ta yem dia e mi nu. E so, wo nya me asem se e ba. Nti se wo nya ware a, na wo no kun ye ba. Ne ba ko ye no, e na wo se mo ma dwene so e ba. Na adwene no be ba ko. Ye mum e wo se wo me se be nya sa kakra so be. Eni se ebi ana adwene ye ba ko. Na ba ebi a wo de wo fa no. Emwa. E wo se wo nya nto wase. Na one no kasa. Chire ni me bi ni so se. Bi a adwuma we na me ye. Adwuma no me hwa enye me adwuma. Na mi nya adwuma nye. Na mi nya hu ma dom adwuma nti e na ko ye. Nyame adom ne mpai ko nti nyame bi me nya me se. Aha na me fa e be kwa. Sanse Bible aka se obra adwuma de efe bi nka ho na Onyankopɔn enhyira ene ma woni paye odefo enti se nyame hyira wo se bibi we na ya toni a fa wonsa ya e wo se wo ye a wo ya nyame hyira so ebe ba wo so enti se wo ye ware ni na ebi a wukunu adwuma bi a ono wo ye na wo so wo die a wo ye na be ma ne timi ka se ja wo die ne ye obi kura timi ka to se enye adwuma tene fie hwe me ma eno die esa na ase chia if you say Bible say yen ma ya aboafo na oboafo de se nipa no de bibi ketua bi ba wo so nya kakra e de be ka ho na ayi bebre we oboafo nti yen ma ya ni hu ade achichi e chense be emema obema de ofra bonti no fa ne shirt she ya na okọ oba betimi hu se ni kun shirt ye she mi se bi ayi fi kakra betimi afre aka chense Ata yo de won ko kaza ayefia na je se wabu na mitia ata de wo die em se na na wo hye na so wa hye tinka be ya se san fa fo je so kasa wa kan nyansa wa enti obeti ase obesi san so wa kasa no an be sha se se wo ya ate ne wo nyam be se ro hye de me ma kuma be to ne kasate na je se na kuma na nipa ewu ahoro bebe obi ho ha wo kan obeti ase so kan ombra kwa no brand so ombra kan choro no ebetumi aboya enti eno na abo se bibi de temperament ni pesu
so ka jo so ti bofo ye betie
ni pesu no egba ho bebe ni pesu gba ho bebe obi pe kasa obi mpe kasa obi du ni pe mo a ena okasa obi du ni pe ma na o ya ade a wa o tinje mu sa ade o de ye ni biase enso woni de no hu se papa ebi se David ene ji ya ma no sa ya ma no ntoma pa na yire ko kanya asem enti se woni hukumo ho a e wo se wo asem bi abekan se bi o ma ndie kakra ebem emfa ho se wo ye hukumo ti mo ya ba akonti na wo kan se ma wo kan se de wo pe baby ekun wo yeti enti ade e yetiri de se etwa tire firi ho a bibia no bi ya ka ye ho ti wo se duo ni eni die de fa bi bia wo de man se wo de man na onti ase kra ye wa fam die e se nyame asem na aka se ema ye mre ho ase ema ye kun wo se bra ho ase wo ka efficiency wa wo se bra ho ase ma wa kasa ufu kasa wadam fuku unni azikun kasa wo sofo wa kasa wo sofo bi sofo ma mi kun wan kasa uku enti se wa mu wan kasa uku no a e je se nyame asem no pa o ya to
mo na mo cha no ku se o se snefi na se o se snefi na se e bia se bibi sina se o twa so bo wa na bibi sina wo wa na bia e de na o se chinchina snefi a kia kwa so be tu na because you have a great feel on my housewives and almost 80 because they have so much kind of the room of person with the people who say it's and now you can person go school and say baby and go school snazzy here and once when I get to your farmer and warrior but just what to me say
He said, "Me who be pay." And yummy, madam. Now we had more cocoa board. They almost 1 year cocoa much. And Papa can't say, "Oh, yeah, you man." Now on to until what's a film will be a store man. And they say, "As a woman, store name and whisker, Eddie, if you appear. If you ask them, store, egg, Papa is a whisker, Eddie, I want to go back." Enti se oye bema na sebe wako school o ide so wako school ne nyame ayi na do na wanya adwuma bi ye adwuma na wanya ye ne nya adwuma aye se yebetimi ayi wudi ana se enya adwuma wo ha no keke bi na wo ka se wonyai na ontene fia e wo se wo hwe wo kari wo yire no wo kari no hwe se ba we ebi adwuma pa na oya ebetimi awo ebi kwa na oba na timi aka do se adwuma we dia mehwe a eye mia madwuma a mepe enti o ka se na adwuma opa wo be ma no poa no fa wakoma tade ya chire na ebeyiye ebesi yiye pa ama mu mienu nyina ba na ye anya wo be ma no kwa na wo ho ba no kwa na ho beto wo be ma no ho beto pa fi se ma wo se ye wo sika na se ni kuma bra mo ni sika da bi o kire no ya hwesumie na se sika hye ho o so kwa ya yibi otimi twa de ma ni kun oba paade a efe o pese ni kun dress kama wo de na kire na mo mo dress basa mo kure ni onu duru ni pe ma won kase ni kun enso ni kun no enso won timi fa won kire je se obi kase wo kun de on kase ha o di je se ofere se wo hwe wo no bia se de wo si afa no na nso so aye wo basa no ha nti obema de se obenya enka wo yiri ye adwuma afa wa koma na wa bi ni nya pia na wo nya ska na ye wo de
see case bia papa bi catching really say 1 year housewife and later obon jeje kakra it's no nema free water reaching groundnuts garina sifo mabene started kitu apena nema ni yekese apena ni kunu ase rivalry ase ochi crab sase amoya
oya be che no kese
exactly when we get oya tete ban sa to the extent class okokashe ban busia force ban de beba bi echi okwan so a nema be brain the long run mama na jai ejuma na betina fi and the same thing we say divorce sa sukra by abi mama na from oni bibia beba no so sa ja it say no Dentina, member do what? Only was our rivalry, wasn't the air also. So, trees and Dentina, Sadin.
A man baby, the atoll meeting said, yes, Oba, Canarian and I'm baby, I don't say about to cheer, and Trini, bear my day, and I bear my book.
All right, and then even switching from football and coming to business wise. In the business field, there are lots of people. Successful businessmen now. It did not just happen. All right, it did not just happen. They knew what they wanted to do, and they started very little from very early, making little efforts towards it. The effort from the beginning might be insignificant, but then how insignificant it might look or it might seem, it still contributes in a way to the success at the end of it all.
Okay.
All right. So what I'll say about that is that people right from infancy need to realize the interest they have, and parents also have a bigger role to play.
That's it.
In helping the children nurture that dream or that vision they are cultivating from infancy. Because a child from infancy may decide to be a footballer. Let's use football for instance. And the desire to play ball is there. Maybe from age 10, the parents may decide to look for a football academy within Ghana here, outside if the resources there to push him out.
Yeah.
And then start giving the child that platform to exercise or exhibit his talent, you know. But then the parent wakes up in the morning, the child tries to talk to the mom or dad, Daddy, I want to be a footballer. I see Stephen Appiah, I see Michael Essien, they are doing great. And then the dad will be like, me family can't show now me footballer. Oh, me fear. There are parents who even threaten their children that then you have to leave my house.
To disown them.
Yes. You know, we put that fear in the child. At the end of the day, we want the child or the person to fall within our line, which in most terms is not, it doesn't help. It doesn't help because the moment you find the interest of your child from infancy and you help him or her build upon it, the child making it in that vein or in that line is very easier.
So with that, most parents are forcing their children to fall in their vein of gold and not what God has purpose for them.
Exactly.
I'm a doctor, so my child has to be a doctor.
Yes.
My child wants to be a footballer because
Exactly.
that is what God has put in him to shine.
Yes. You know, we have lots of secular musicians in Ghana who, you know, in university or in school did nothing that relates to music. I once listened to, you know, one of these guys in Ghana, singers in Ghana, and then one thing he mentioned was that when he was growing up, he wanted to do music, but he was threatened by his parents that then he will have to leave home. And look at the statement he made. He said, in order to be in the house and satisfy his father's desire, he stayed in the house, went to university, completed, left the house and pursued his music career.
I think that's a wise one.
Yes. But look at it from this side. What if he had started earlier? Now he's a star in Ghana, but what if he had started earlier? Maybe he would have, even though he's a star in Ghana, maybe he would have gained grounds outside, international platforms, you know. And I think if the adult or the parent should try to help their children in that way, discovering the talent of your child or the visions of your children is one thing. Helping them to achieve it is another. You know, when you help the child achieve his or her aim, you bring the child into satisfaction and recognition. All right, but then where you try to curtail the child's visions, and then you present the child with a new vision that this is what I want you to abide, or this one I want you to work towards. For all you know, God has made provisions. God has made provisions for the visions of each and every person. They might not be physical, we might not see them with our eyes, but then one way or the other, in every milestone of our life's journey, God has placed things within it to cause us to fall into the next stage. Alright, so you curtailing that and presenting the child with another vision, what you actually switch the child from making it in life. You see?
You know why I'm smiling?
No.
Today's my mother's birthday.
Wow.
And I remember her telling me, I said, I wanted to be a carpenter.
Hey!
I didn't want to go to school. I want to be a carpenter. My mother said, Granty, just go to school. Do geology for me. Let your mind open up and you can always come back to be a carpenter. That is what she told me. Well, she passed on. I became a geologist, but I still believe that I am a carpenter because well, let me say a spiritual carpenter because I still knock lives together. Exactly. But I believe that maybe if I had been a carpenter, I would have been different. But I also believe that she ordered me to learn because if I had just gone straight to be a carpenter, I wouldn't have been a carpenter with a swag.
Exactly.
So I think all things work together for good.
Exactly.
Well, on this note, we want to salute Nora Taylor of blessed memory. God bless you so much for nurturing a young lady with long legs like me to become who God has purposed me to be. Your advice has brought us all far. I want to salute you today on your birthday. You would have been 71 years if you were alive. God bless you so much wherever you are. And we know we'll meet again. On this note, you won't believe it, but today we went to Mentukwa, one of the villages around Sunyani, in honor of Nora, to go and give 1,000 gold packs to some children in the school there, and you could see the golden smiles on the faces of the children. It was awesome. We have nose mask here, we have beautiful crayons, we have exercise books from Gold Intellectuals, so many beautiful things, erasers, math sets, and we gave it to over 150 children in the village school, and see how they were excited. We believe that whatever we give them would lead them in their vein of gold to the success that God has purposed for them. On this note, we want to say that we are still distributing to a lot of children all over Ghana. You can always join us. If you have anything, let's go out there and do it for you if you don't have the time to do it. And the seed you have sown, your children will also reap. So there we go with 1,000 gold packs. And we are sponsored by Divinely Redeemed. As I always say, we do the best paper bags. You can tell, beautiful paper bags, different colors for funerals, for weddings, any occasion. Just call on us and we'll do it. And as we do it for you, we have a token that we give to the orphans and the needy in society. Thank you so much once again for joining the Pillars Golden Moment. As I said today, I've lost my voice, but I believe that you can still hear me. Thank you for joining and thank you for sharing to all your friends and loved ones. Today we are with Master Samuel Godson Asari, all the way from Accra. He actually came to distribute textbooks to me. He's a wonderful young man, and I caught him today because I wanted him to give us a little of his wisdom before he goes back to Accra. I believe you are enjoying already. Let's go back as we have more wisdom on, is it your vein of gold or it's your father's vein of gold? Or your mother's vein of gold? Or your classmates' vein of gold? Officer, most of us are following our classmates' veins of gold. Is it true?
Very true. Very, very true. I remember when I was in JHS 1, I had a friend by name Bismarck.
Bismarck.
You know, Bismarck is a very intelligent guy. And one thing I admired about him was his handwriting.
Oh wow.
Can you imagine that I took his notes one afternoon? I intentionally told him the lesson we did that day, I couldn't catch up with some of the notes, so I would like to take his notebook home, go copy notes and I took his book home, and you would not believe it that I actually did not take his book home to go and catch up with notes, but then I took his book home to go and learn how his handwriting looks like.
Wow.
And you know, after a week of studying how he writes, I started writing just like him.
Oh wow.
I started writing just like him. And for over 10 years, I was writing just like Bismarck. When you pick Bismarck's book and you pick my book, there's no difference.
Twin writing.
Yes. But I got to a point I realized that I find difficulty writing the same way he does.
You're struggling to do it.
I struggle to do it, but I struggle to do it perfectly. So it got to a point I was like,
struggle to do it perfectly.
yes. I got to a point I told myself, no, why would I struggle to write like someone whilst I can freely do it my own way?
And maybe even do it better.
Yes. And I decided not to write like him anymore.
Oh, you made that decision?
Yes. When I was in SS2.
Oh, wow. So about 3-4 years.
I was writing like him for that period of time. And afterwards, I think in SS, I decided, no, I have to write like, I have to go back to how I used to write. And I did it freely without any stress, because writing like my friend, you have to tilt your notebook or your book in some way.
Is it cursive or what?
And yes, and hold the pen in such a way, it's a whole stress.
What kind of operation is this?
You know, and then we have other incidences where in school, you know, our choice of work in the future, at a point we're guided by what our friends were also desiring to do. you'll be with your friends, you'll be discussing stuff, and then a friend of yours mentions that, oh, in the future I want to be an engineer, so in the university I want to study engineering. Someone says I want to be an accountant, so in university I'll be studying accounting. And you know, we had lots of friends at the time who were like, okay, fine, if this friend of mine is going to do sociology, I'll also be doing the same. And even in school, a cousin of mine, you know, I was talking to her quite recently, and then she told me that she's in Cape Coast, UCC. Okay. She told me that very soon they'll be doing their electives as they are approaching their final year in the university. So they'll be doing their electives, and a friend of hers, you know, was saying that she should choose some course
so
over.
she choose?
Yes, because that's what her friend will be going to do.
Oh, really?
So they've had that discussion, and then she wants to find out. She told her elder brother, and they are calling me, and I told her, see, let me tell you something. What do you want to do?
Yes, it's about you.
Yes. I asked her, what do you want to do? She told me what she wanted to do. We looked through the options available, and I told her that you are not going to do, or you are not going to fulfill what your friend will be fulfilling in the future. She has a whole different, you know, perspective of everything. You also have a different, like we are saying, you have your own vein of gold.
Yes.
Work towards it, and you are going to achieve it.
But do you know that God is going to judge us more for destinies we didn't fulfill, more than even sins?
Exactly.
So why do you help someone fulfill their destiny?
Exactly.
When yours lies waste.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Apostle. And this is for you. This pillar, when you hold this pillar, it's taking you to another level. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Apostle, may you be a great pillar to everyone you meet. And
Thank
also,
you so
I'm going
much.
to give you 2 packages. As you leave here, any child you see who you are touched, just give this to the child. They have some exercise books and stuff inside. You need to bless any child you meet. And I know that you've been going to villages a lot to distribute books. Whenever you need any help, call on Golden Pillars Foundation. If you go to any school and you see any child deprived or any child needs uniform, blah blah, just call on us and we'll do the little we can. That is Golden Pillars for you. We serve with our hearts. Thank you so much for passing through. And I've really been blessed. And I will never miss my vein of gold. No. And I believe no one else will.
Yes.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Alright, so here we go again. Wow, so I believe we are still being very safe. So what I just did, please keep yourself safe. COVID is real, and I believe that you will live long to find that vein of gold of yours and live to the expectation of Christ. For I always say, most of us will not be judged for the sins we committed, but for the fact that we missed our veins of gold and we followed other veins of gold and we didn't succeed in life. Thank you once again for joining the Pillars Golden Moments. I've had a golden moment. I believe you've also had a golden moment. Until the next time we meet again, know that there's gold in you. Bring it out for the world to see. Nyumo Ajobo.